If you don't believe climate change exists, I would say, get out of the bubble of privilege, take a look at the world and believe. I'm Belalak and I'm 18.
Moi, je m'appelle Vipulan et j'ai 18 ans.
So before we got on the plane, I was speaking about us being hypocrites. Being an activist, people often think that you have to be completely purged of hypocrisy. And they're like, I will only listen to you when you're living in a forest in a cardboard box being vegan. And if you do that, then you're deemed a hippie and no one listens to you. If you don't do that, then you're deemed a hypocrite. And what I would say is, yes, reduce your impact as much as possible and take as many steps to being more sustainable and ethical as you can, but speak up wherever you are on that spectrum.
On a aussi fait ce film et pris l'avion en quelque sorte parce que on s'est dit que l'impact final du film allait être largement supérieur au fait que nous on prenne l'avion. On fait pas ça pour passer des vacances à Bali, quoi. Il y a souvent deux discours qui reviennent. Enfin, il y a un peu ce discours, c'était dans l'histoire de l'humanité, machin, et l'autre discours qui dit, tous les humains doivent devenir véganes parce que tuer les animaux, c'est mal en tant que tel. La question, c'est quelle relation on a avec les animaux qu'on mange. Il n'y a pas de liberté pour les animaux. C'est-à-dire que, par exemple, quand les animaux naissent, on sait déjà quel jour on va les tuer. Il y a une industrialisation de la mise à mort.
Et comment vous en êtes arrivé à faire quelque chose comme ça?
Mais c'est une passion.
Mais c'est pas une passion d'élever les animaux comme ça, j'imagine.
Mais oui, mais on n'a pas le choix.
L'exemple de cet éleveur de lapins, c'est l'exemple parfait. Il gagne 350 € par mois. On peut pas lui reprocher de faire ce qu'il fait.
At the beginning, I was glaring at him. We kind of hated what he was doing. Well, I hated him anyway. And then I began, during the interview, to understand that he was just as entrapped as the rabbits. He was also in a cage. And it was a system which created the conditions, meaning that he had to do this farming. History and tradition isn't an excuse to continue. We're humans, we adapt, we change. The natural world is changing. It's now a question of, do we let the world change catastrophically or do we change? And the simple answer is that it has to be us.
Dans notre génération, il y a plus de personnes qui sont conscientes de la réalité et qui comprennent réellement les mécanismes sociaux, économiques que dans la classe dirigeante.
I think, young people haven't yet been conditioned by the different economic, political structures. They kind of, I think, as a generation, we have a much more objective and critical perception of the existing structures. And I think people are scared of that because it's the imagination, it's the passion, and it's the ability to just stand up without any ulterior motive and actually say what we think.
Please, can you answer us? Is it what you call transparency and democracy? Can you answer us, please?
Excuse me, because we believe that as a younger generation, there's a responsibility to future generations to provide an answer.
Croire que le zéro déchet va sauver le monde, ça c'est faux. Si les actions individuelles ne se compensent pas ou ne se suivent pas d'actions collectives, d'engagement dans des luttes locales par exemple, ça n'a pas forcément d'intérêt. Moi ça m'arrive d'acheter des trucs en plastique quand je mange au Crous, au restaurant universitaire, il y a du plastique. Après, c'est pas pour autant qu'il faut acheter du plastique pour rien non plus, quoi.
I've spoken to young people all over the world who are experiencing, in their lifetime, they're 14, 15, they've experienced the change, the accelerating change. They're having to go further to collect water. They've had to migrate. I spoke to a girl who lived in an island with 1,200 people. The whole population had to migrate because of rising sea levels. If you don't believe climate change exists, I would say, get out of the bubble of privilege, take a look at the world and believe. I would rather be I'm not saying I don't have privilege, but I'd rather be a privileged person doing something than a privileged person doing nothing. And I think to those cynics saying it's a white person problem, they have a point, which is that largely the perpetrators of the climate crisis are in developed Western nations and the victims largely are in developing nations.
C'est pas un problème de blanc entre guillemets, et les personnes les plus affectées, comme l'a dit Bella, c'est en réalité les classes populaires, mais de manière large, racisées ou pas.